Good morning. Welcome, everyone. We are so pleased that everybody is here. At this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand. We're going to start with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for a chance to come together to take care of county business and to recognize those that are worthy of recognition. We are grateful to have these first responders with us today. We ask for your continued blessing over them in every aspect of their job, that you would keep them safe on the job no matter what it is that they're working on. And we are grateful, Lord, to be able to share our appreciation today. We turn this agenda over to you and ask that you guide us through each and every item, that the decisions we make would be what is best for this community. We thank you for how you have blessed Mount Pleasant and Titus County and ask that that continue. We just pray all this in Christ's name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our second Commissioners Court meeting of the month. Today is the 24th of June, 2019. It's just after 9 o'clock, and we'll begin with item number 1. This is time for public comment, requests for information on any non-agenda items in accordance with our Open Meetings Act. Is there anyone that would like to address the court at this time about a non-agenda item? I don't have any requests to speak, but nonetheless, this is your opportunity. Then we will move on and consider and possibly approve our minutes from the last meeting. June 10th was our first meeting of the month of June.
Make that motion.
Motion to approve that set of minutes is made by Commissioner Applewhite.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Item number 3, simply enumerated here, is Firefighter Recognition. And we have an opportunity today to do just that, to recognize some individuals regarding a particular sad event that happened a few months ago. But we don't get to do this very often, and the Commissioners Court, much like the City of Mount Pleasant, is honored to be able to do this today. And we would like to recognize several individuals. And Chief, if I may call upon you to give us the names and ranks of these individuals and tell us a little bit about the circumstances surrounding this. I'm well aware of this, but for those that are not aware of this, and for those that are watching on our video at a later time, I just want them to be able to know what's going on. We've got our camera going back there in the back with audio and video, and it's got a pretty wide range. And so for those of you that want to maybe come on up and get you can stand right there however you would like to do it. And then the commissioners will have a chance here in just a moment to say a little bit more. But for a little bit of background, Chief McCrae, thank you for being here. We've got some members of your team and that are here with us today. We have friends, we have family. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Judge. A few months back, we received a call early in the evening of a trailer house fire out north of town. While en route to the call, we were told that there was a possibility of a young person being trapped in the trailer. And when the guys arrived on scene, then they did confirm that. And at that point, the trailer was heavily involved in fire, and the guys had to fight their way in to get to her, and were able to get her out and get her to the hospital. The outcome wasn't what we wanted, but the guys gave her the best chance of survival possible by the acts that they did that night. The ones that were involved in it is Captain Craig Udy, Captain Adam Decker, Brian Fairchild, Thompson, and Daniels were the firefighters that were involved in it. Decker was actually the leader of the crew that went inside with Fairchild, and Daniels went inside, or was it Thompson? Thompson went inside. So, yeah, Thompson and Daniels. and were able to make the rescue, got her outside, passed her off to the two on the outside that started doing CPR and got her in the rig, and then some of our volunteer firefighters actually helped with the CPR and getting her to the hospital. So,
And actually rode in the ambulance and continued to do the best they could.
gave her the best care possible and her best chance of survival. So, like I said, this is not something that happens, all the time where we have to risk our lives to go into a building to do that. But our guys obviously are ready to do that. That's what they're there for.
This trailer was located out in the county, is that correct?
Yes, just north of Harts Bluff School.
Well, I want to tell you and tell you guys and ladies how much the county appreciates the services that you give to us, whether it's a member of the City of Mount Pleasant team or whether it's a volunteer firefighter. The services provided to the county are very much appreciated. We have some plaques that we would like to present to you at this time. So I'm going to come down here, present these plaques, and then if we could ask you to give us an opportunity to get a picture with you, if you do that. Let's get everybody up here. As you can see, we've got a couple of different sizes here. We have three here that, if I may read, these are a citation for valor. These are in recognition of those that actually went inside of the burning structure. In recognition of his highly courageous action involving personal risk that resulted in the rescue of a child from a burning building, the Titus County Commissioners Court and the citizens of Titus County present Captain Adam Decker with this Citation of Valor Award today, June 24, 2019. Captain, if you'd come up and allow me to present this. Thank you very much. We have two more of these. We have Stuart Thompson and Caleb Daniels. If I could get you guys to come on up.
Thank you, man.
Stuart, yours says the same thing. This is a citation for valor for your involvement in the rescue inside that burning structure. Caleb, yours is also a citation for valor for going inside of that building. We appreciate what you did and risking your life. These remaining five are meritorious citations for the various roles that each of these individuals played. Allow me to read these. A meritorious citation, Captain Craig Udy, in recognition of your highly professional action that resulted in providing emergency medical care for a child rescued from a burning structure. The County Commissioners Court and the citizens of Titus County present this meritorious citation today, June 24, 2019. Captain. Thomas Collier. Thomas, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Brian Fairchild. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you very much. Congratulations. Crystal Grubbs. Crystal, thank you very much. We appreciate what you did. And last but not least, Marcus Williams. Marcus, congratulations. Thank you for your role. If I could ask y'all to maybe squeeze together and scoot up just a bit, commissioners, if y'all would like to come around and stand behind this lady and these gentlemen. Maybe come forward another 24 inches here and maybe squeeze in together. I don't know, I at least want to get everybody on the video there, and I think that we can at that time. Chief, you got a camera there that you can take a picture of these gentlemen and lady? Once again, thank you for taking time out to come up today, and thank you for the jobs you guys and ladies do each and every day. Y'all are welcome to stick with us. You're welcome to leave. It won't be awkward either if you need to leave. Y'all are welcome anytime. Come back. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all. Hey man, what's going on? Take care, John. Crystal.
All right, that was something nice. We've never done something like that before. No Ken Wilson today. Okay. Well,
I think he's on vacation.
okay. Well,
Saw something.
he asked to be put on the. There's nobody else representing Ken today about the Court Security Committee. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask that you would table item number 4. Ken Wilson, who is heading up the efforts of the Court Security Committee, does have a report to give us and some recommendations that have been sent up to us by the Court Security Committee. Nothing that's that I think will be any surprise to you, but some good, smart recommendations. If you will, could I get a motion to table that item?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will table that till the next meeting. Item number 5, a report from Luann Rollins and Callie Zoeller from our AgriLife Extension Agency. Welcome, ladies. Glad to have you here. Callie, you getting situated up there?
Thank you.
Turn it over to you, Luann.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all allowing us to share some information about Extension, what we're doing. And I want to thank y'all so much for approving having Callie so that we have a full staff. It has made all the difference in the world since March 1st. So really appreciate it. So our goal is we want people to know what we're doing. So we, and y'all too. So y'all should have received Titus County highlights from us the first part of April. Our plans are to send them out quarterly, so you know kind of our highlights, what's going on. And that's basically what we're here to share is our last quarter, which has been with a full-time staff. So I'm going to let Callie start off, and I'll pass out some of these so that you can have it.
Well, like Luann said, we just want to take time.
Callie, pull that mic down so we can be sure the folks at home that'll watch this later can hear you. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you, mate.
So like Luann said, we just want to take time to kind of give you guys an update as far as what we've got going on with the Extension Service and within Titus County. So as the Ag and Natural Resources agent, a big part of my job is getting out in the community and visiting with ag producers and visiting with youth involved in agriculture. And so that's a really rewarding part of my job. And I've been able to do that here recently in the past few months. We had a plant walk with a group of homeschooled kids within Titus County that actually stemmed from a farm visit that I did with the local ag producer. So that was a really neat opportunity and event that we had here in Titus County. I've been able to meet with Farm Bureau and visit with those committeemen and visit with them and kind of get involved and work together with AgriLife Extension. We've got a quarterly ag newsletter that we're working on sending out here in July. So those are going to be kind of informative newsletters and as well as give you program updates and as far as upcoming events that we have going. As far as youth development, we've got a major livestock show validation this evening. We're very excited to have a heifer that's going to major shows this upcoming spring. We also had a very good turnout at the county tag-in, so we should have almost a dozen 4-H members exhibiting livestock at the Titus County Fair this September, so we're very excited about that. And then we've also got a Plan ID team started. So we actually have practice this afternoon. We're planning on competing at contests at the East Texas State Fair of Texas, and many 4-H contests. So that's something that I grew up doing in 4-H, and I'd like to pass that on to youth in Titus County as well. So that's kind of all I've got going as far as ag and natural resources. I'll turn it over to Luann.
Okay. Of course, mine's family and community health, so I wanted to share, I partnered with Fit City Tyler, and they have a wonderful weight loss program that goes on that the grand prize is $5,000. It's no cost to our county, and we had a $1,000 winner that works at Texas Workforce. So we had about 60 people participate. So hopefully more people in the county will participate next year, because it's one of those free things. And you know, the young lady was real excited about her $1,000 Brookshire's gift card. So basically it's promoting reducing overweight and increasing our physical activities. So that's what that program is. Also, I have been doing Be Well, Do Well, Be Well, Live Well, which is for our seniors, and believe it or not, 55 and older is considered a senior. So it's focused on the health needs of anyone 55 years or older, and I've been doing it at the Senior Meal Center, and really good reception. So with a little bit younger age group, I have been doing a nutrition series at the Child Development Center with those parents. So
How do you advertise things like that?
Usually somebody comes in or asks for a program, or like the other day, we went to, both of us, Callie and I, went to Harts Bluff and talked to the superintendent about Learn, Grow, Eat, Go, which is a child's gardening and nutrition and physical activity also. So just reaching out to those and just getting the information out that we have this.
What about the adults? Like that nutritional deal sounds good. How would you put that word out? Do you do Facebook or?
We do Facebook, just word of mouth. And that's the sad part about Extension is we're fighting to get the word out. So.
Okay, well, if we can help you, let us know.
Okay, great. So. Let's see. Of course, I work with the Child Care Association. There's one that's Northeast Texas Child Care Association with about 70 members with several counties. And we just recently did a distracted driving program where we brought a specialist in from A&M. And I was really surprised of how much lack of education I had. Anywhere from, I don't know if anybody else has an apple or a glass or anything in their car, but when you have an accident, what's in your car, in your floorboard or wherever, when you have that accident, that does more damage to the people in the car and I was surprised, so I kind of picked up a little bit in mine. So, it was for a child care association, and they received their CEUs. So, let's see. We have coming up our Halloween, which is similar to Ag in the Classroom. That's going to be in the fall, and we'll have about 700 fourth graders have been invited. And it'll be a one-day event. Part of it will be at the Extension office, and the other part will be at the Civic Center, having to do with ag and nutrition and gardening. So we're real excited about that. Last year we had, it was supposed to be a 2-day event. We had it all at the Extension office, and it poured down in rain, believe it or not. So we had to cancel day 2. So we're hoping having the Civic Center will allow us to expand. So, actually, Callie and I have already started planning for 2020 for our youth program. We've already have plans in place, and then I guess 2 more months we will be planning our all the other areas other than youth areas. So our ag and natural resource, and then my programs for the year. So we are already starting on 2020. So just like I guess everybody else is. So.
Or do you advertise in the newspaper any of these activities? Would they do that for you?
We can if we put, yes, we have. Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of our programs, like the nutrition, are geared toward low income, so they are free programs. So.
Put something over there at Titus County Cares. I'm sure they'd let you put something up
That
there.
would
They
be
get a lot
great.
of
Yes.
traffic for that target audience.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
you getting this to us. And if you need to post these in and around county facilities, feel free to do so.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody have any
Thank
questions?
y'all.
Thanks,
All right.
ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming in today. Okay, item number 6 will be a report from commissioners regarding roadwork status. Commissioner Riddle?
Well, we've had lots and lots of rain, as you know, and potholes and soft spots are eating our lunch, and plus one day along we had 10 trees that we had to get up. So we've lost ground as far as improving our roads. So it's been a last week. We were behind on our mowing. We got behind. We've had trouble with our mower, and we asked, called the shop. Robert did, to come and look at the mower, sharpen the blades, and they said they didn't have time at the shop, so they Robert asked could he use the truck, and he come in and got the service truck. It has a generator on it, so we electric sharpener, blade sharpeners, that's it. But they said they were too busy to come out. So when they told me that, Robert called and told me they were too busy. I had previously told, I was behind on mowing, told Jeff. So I went up to the shop to see if we was going to have to rent another backhoe shredder or not, or do something, buy one or whatever it would take to get caught up with the mowing. And when I got up there, they were too busy, but Jeff Gage, a mechanic, had a handheld computer and had Commissioner Applewhite's hood up, and they were checking out his pickup truck. They were so busy they couldn't come out and help us do the yard with their equipment. But anyway, other than that, we're still behind on our mower. I don't know when it's going to be fixed. They told us to bring it in Thursday of last week. We brought it in. It was still sitting there all week, and I don't know when we'll get it. Other than that, that's about it.
Commissioner Fitch?
Okay, one day we hauled some concrete from out at my precinct maintenance facility. We have a lot of concrete that was hauled in there from TxDOT, so we used that on that big culvert that we were putting in out there with Jimmy. And of course, we've been mowing every chance we get when it's not flooded out and raining. And we cleaned some ditches on 2730 and 1030, and we're cleaning ditches along some as we're out picking up all the limbs and cutting trees from the storms. We've done had a lot of storm tree damage, and this one good dry afternoon, we hauled some of that, hauled some iron ore in from down at the bottom of the hill. It sits in a real low wet place, and so we hauled some of that to the top of the hill. And I had 100 tons of pea gravel brought in for seal coating, so that'll get me up to, got about roughly 200 tons ready for this summer. And lots of tree damage, so it's kind of getting us behind on some of our road works. We've been working on 2710, getting the soft spots and filling in with iron ore, getting it ready and packed so we can seal coat. And I passed my CDL test, did the driver's test finally, so I'm moving right along, everybody. That's all I got.
Progress. When is your first seal coat project going to be?
Probably be in August, probably first part of August probably.
Okay. Commissioner Applewhite?
Well, we tilled up about a mile of road on 1925, got it packed back down, and before the rain hit, we had a bunch of trees down the last couple of days. The whole weekend we had trees down. We've been patching roads and dealing with the bunch of unexpected stuff. And the reason my truck was at the shop, I run through the water and at my computer, he reset my computer. And, you know, grown men can do their work, but you know, they can sharpen blades and everything else. My guys do. So what's the difference between my guys and your guys?
Why'd you run through the water?
Well, I had to go, it was just deep, and I was trying to get to the other side where the trees were at and everything. Anyway.
Did you get it fixed?
Yeah, just reset it, all it was. It wouldn't take 5 minutes.
Okay.
But, you know.
When is your first seal coat project?
I got 2 roads that we can look at, but like I said, where the water is, we just don't have, it's going to be, somebody asked me for a schedule, but this rain has put us way behind schedule.
All right, Commissioner Parker?
We had another culvert blowout that John was talking about there that I appreciate him sending a couple of his guys out to help haul that concrete, because it was a long ways from his yard all the way up to the interstate north of Cookeville up there where we were at, and it helped us get through that a whole lot quicker. We've been, like everybody else, picking up trees and night and day. We got a call Friday that there was one down, and went and cleaned it up, and got it picked up on down there behind Chapel Hill School down there on 4825, and the guys went back down there this morning. Part of it fell, part of it was still, another big limb was still hanging over the road, and they went and got the bucket truck and was going to go out there and try to finish taking it down this morning. We've been trying to side cut. We've had some trouble with our side cutter. The mower has been giving some problems. The tractor lost 4-wheel drive on it, and we couldn't, off in the ditches, you can't work without 4-wheel drive right now as wet as it is. So they have just about got it back ready to go, I think, and I think it was one more part being through with it. And we started mowing, I guess it was last Tuesday, and got to mow 2 days, and then we ended up having to clean up some trees, and it rained and all on Wednesday, so we didn't get a whole lot done, but we're working on that, and that's our next project, is doing that. We've also worked on 3155 and 4325 to 4315 to get them ready to try to do some seal coating on them. So
When do you think that'll possibly be?
probably going to be somewhere end of July or maybe the middle of August before we can get if the rain lets up enough that we can get in there and finish it up.
Okay.
It just one of them so bad that it's just, if we break it up and we get a rain like we got last week, it'll it'll ruin it totally. I mean, they won't even, it'll be completely impassable. So we're kind of waiting on the weather to break, and when it breaks, well, we're going to jump on it pretty hot and heavy. So it's kind of what we're looking at right now.
All right. Anything else? Okay, let's move into item 7. We're going to take a brief executive session break here. So it is 9:31. The court's going to go into executive session to discuss employee matters, and we've got our county attorney's going to meet with us. So I would anticipate maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll crank right back up. So if we could get everybody to give us some time in executive session. Okay, it is 10:08, I believe, and we are back in regular session, and we are ready to proceed with item number 8. And these are some items that were previously tabled, but let's get started here with consider and possibly approve the purchase of a replacement chipper used to distribute gravel in the seal coat process. Can anybody tell me where we stand on y'all's decision on whether or not to buy another chipper?
We have, I have two used ones, and they got 4,900 hours and 4,700 hours on them each. They're 2005 models and 2006 models. And then if we're dedicated that we're going to chip seal, that machine we have is old. It was we bought it in the early 80s, and bought it from Ritchie Auction Company. It's been it's not on our inventory at all. And we gave like $75,000 for it back in the early 80s. So a new one, I've got a bid for
what's the cost on these two used ones?
140,000, 39 something, 140.
For either of those?
Either of them.
About 139,000. Okay. What about a new one?
New one's 284 everything with a guarantee. And not only I have a copy, Franklin County bought a new one 3 years ago. They're out going to be in Franklin County this week, and this Etna, or however it's pronounced, will be there to verify everything works, go over the machine, make sure everything works, everything's computes right, so forth. And the last time we used that, we spent days going out picking up pea gravel that the machine threw out, and it doesn't measure it. This thing measured them all, and I think if we're dedicated to seal coating, I think it's necessary that we get a very good machine, and trying to find a used one seems like a lot of people got different brands, and everybody tells me don't use a different brand than this one because these are the experts, and they do offer. And one of the guys at Franklin County said you couldn't beat them coming out and checking on it, guaranteeing it, making sure that it's working properly, and said they'll do it every year.
Are these two used ones that same brand as the new one?
Right.
And what did Franklin County get? A new one?
They got a new one 3 years ago.
Okay.
And their old one, they sold it to Camp County, and God love them, they hadn't got their stuff together and doing any seal coating over there yet. Because it's the trouble, I guess, with getting it takes a big crew to do it.
And did they buy a new one?
No, they bought Franklin County's.
Their old one?
Yeah. That was 3 years ago.
So what I'm hearing you say, you think we ought to get a new one?
I recommend that we buy this one for $284,000, and it's got its own hand now. It can deliver this summer. We can use it, and if you order a new one, it's 6 months, so we wouldn't be able to use it this year.
Was it you? Who was telling me about leasing one with an option to buy? Was it?
I checked on leasing it, and it was a Bearcat brand, and we're just not hearing good information on Bearcat from people I talked to. They're nice when they're new.
How do you spell this company name of the ones? that-
Etnire,
Can you spell that?
E-T-N-I-R-E.
Here's a copy of
I'm
the
not
bid.
sure. Does it say Etnire on here? E-T-N-Y-R.
E-T-N-Y-R.
Precinct 2.
Well, the used one I found was a 2018 model. They leased it out last summer to a TxDOT, had 220 hours on it, and they wanted $199,000 for it. Or we could lease it, or it don't matter if it's 1 month or 6 months or whatever, it's $14,500 a month.
That's the Bearcat?
Yeah, it's a Bearcat brand.
Commissioner Riddle would like to get this new Etnire. What are you thinking now that you've considered
It just
all
seems
this?
like a lot of money. I just
It
don't
is a
know
lot of
about it.
money.
I
That's
mean,
a lot of
I
money.
need to dwell on it. It kind of makes the old machine look good. It does the job. I'd rather pick up some gravel than shell out that much money for one, but that's where I'm torn. I'm on the fence on it because it's so expensive. I know that we can, if it breaks down this summer, we can find one of these that we can rent.
You think so?
I'm hoping. I mean, they have them now,
I've been
so
told that
if they run out, they run out.
They said you better get it in January if you want to try to lease one.
Well, these are sitting there ready to lease right now.
One of those Bearcats?
Mm-hmm. I was surprised too.
I'd recommend, that's the reason. There's a reason they're sitting
Yeah,
there.
or we would have to maybe borrow, maybe, I don't know if we could borrow help, get Franklin County to help us finish a place if we got oil on the road or something, but we'd have to shut down. So, 284, brand new.
How quickly?
not sure.
How quickly could you get this one?
They said they could deliver it in a couple of weeks. They said it was in Fort Worth, I believe, or it's close. I don't know whether it's in Fort Worth or not, but it's within 200 miles of us, wherever it is.
They would train us. We went and sent Bobby Tosh up there, and we sent Justin Posey, and they were impressed with it. Nice machine, big update, 40 years
How much
newer.
does Franklin County use theirs? Any way we could lease from them?
Who?
Lease from Franklin County?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I doubt it.
But that's, I'm not familiar with them, so I don't know.
Y'all got an opinion on this?
Well, that one that John was talking about there that we could lease with the option to buy, is that what it was, John?
Yes, it goes, certain percentage goes towards a purchase. If you
I
want to
think if we
purchase
could run that thing through the summer, lease it through September maybe, and see how it operates. If we have any problems with it, all we got to do is turn it back in. If it works good, then we might look at working it into the budget for next year. I really hate to go spend $284,000 after we've already bought this reclaimer and this other packer. I really hate to spend that kind of money, but that's just my feelings on it.
Quite a bit of money. Like I said, we've bought it quite a bit. And like I said, our chipper's old, but like I said, it can still be used anyway.
I agree that we do need something else, but I just think that
I think there's something that maybe that I didn't say that's important. These chippers, like the old one, it goes 10 foot.
That's
And
true.
that's it. So you got to, it's all it is. These will go up to 20 foot, this one's 24 foot. You can go down to 2 foot if you want to. And it spreads it out just by putting the dials on the computer. And that's all it is. And we can do a whole road instead of going down half the road, half the time coming back up the road. We have to do it. We have an overlap in the middle with our old machine, and these are some of the good points that Bobby and Justin that went up there last week and spent the day with them. with the Aetna man. The guy called me, said that's it.
What about these Bearcats? How wide of a swath will they do?
Looking at it, I think it's a 20-foot wide.
Or you can get all of these, you can get different ones in the Aetna.
Yeah, you can get all sizes, 18 to 24 wide or
Do
so.
they have lease units immediately available?
Who's it?
Aetna. I wonder if they would
No,
lease
it's
us
just
that.
the Bearcat. Are your
Oh,
Bearcat?
that's right.
Yeah, the Bearcat's available, and he said if we leased it, I was talking about leasing it through the end of the summer till fall. He said, well, then next year we apply so much of that towards you probably wouldn't owe $140,000 on it next year, which it's probably more than that, but depending on how long we keep it. So it would be cheaper than buying a fairly new equipment machine, and they come down and they train us and everything on it. And it's a pretty high-tech machine like the Aetna.
You're not as high on Bearcat as you
I heard from talking to a guy I talked to that he didn't like the Aetna distributor truck. He didn't like the Bearcat distributor trucks. But, so he's like, I don't know about the Bearcat. And then, but East Texas Road and Bridge, that's what, they lease one every summer. That's all they use is these Bearcat from that company. I'm trying to find the company on my email. So I don't know. I don't know.
They lease.
Machine costs that much, should work pretty decent. All I can say, putting that kind of money on it. If we lease it, then they service it and warranty as long as we're leasing it. So we kind of get to try it out. And it just has 220 hours on it. That's fairly new.
Okay.
That'll be like getting a brand new one.
Well, Commissioner Riddle, you want to make a motion to buy that new one? You may not get a second, but let's get this thing.
I'd like to make a motion to buy that. I think it's necessary. We're going to try to do the roads correctly, and we're dedicated to doing it. I think we're to get us a good machine that we know is good, and there's no doubt about it, no bad rep on it. All of it's good, and I believe that's a fair price, and it'll serve all of our purposes.
Okay, motion's made by Commissioner Riddle to purchase a new Aetna brand at a price of $284,400. Is that the right figure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion, do I have a second? Okay. Doesn't sound like y'all want to do that. What's the next best idea here? You want to talk about leasing for the rest of the summer, which would be July, August, September. We're talking about leasing it for 3 years. You'd probably have a pretty good idea of what that Bearcat would do.
It is a let's see here. It is 10 foot to 20 foot is what it stretches out. So it's 10 foot when it's condensed. It stretches out to a 20 foot width of a road. 225 hours. They want $199,870 for it. New, it would be $285,000. Or we could rent it for $14,500 a month to help, reduce the price. It says 70% of build goes towards to own it or something.
But you don't have to own it. You could finish
No,
the
we can turn it
summer
right
out,
back
turn
in.
it back.
We could
say
do it
thank
next
you
year and
very
get
much.
another one. We could rent another one next year.
There's an interest charge on that also.
So as far as having let me look on his invoice. I'm not sure.
5%, depending on how long
It doesn't
Commissioner
have
Fish, do you have a motion based on what you've thought about?
No, I don't. I want to consider both of these machines a little further and talk to them about what
How quickly do we
percentage.
need something functional to hit the ground?
Probably by the,
weather, we could.
Yeah,
we've
2
got-
weeks.
We've got some roads that we're prepared to do within 2 weeks, but
What would be wrong with leasing for 3 months, 2 months?
well, first of all, it's 10 foot, you'd have the same problem.
it's 20 foot. It goes to 20.
10 though.
It condenses to 10.
Our roads, we don't have many 20-foot roads.
Yeah,
We have mostly
14.
16, 18. You got 10 foot, if you got 10 foot, you're gonna go down the road, do half of it,
But he just told me these would go up to 20.
20, oh, wait, oh, okay.
Yeah, if you lease that one, it goes.
It's adjustable, variable between 10 and 20? Is
How
that-
wide is our spreader bars? How wide do they go? They only stretch out to 18 maybe?
Well, listen, if you guys.
So, I mean, it's
I
plenty
told you
big.
my recommendation.
Yeah.
It's okay, I don't care what you do. I think it's foolish, you do it anyhow.
You could have that new machine in, what'd you say, 30 days?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You get it to us, they spend a day or two with you, teaching you how to use it.
It's nice. I mean, it's the Cadillac. It really is. It's nice. It's a good machine.
Well,
And it probably lasts another 40 years.
It's the same price new as the Bearcat.
Yeah, it's the same as the Bearcat. If I was going to buy one new, I'd buy the Etnire brand.
Okay.
So,
Well, what do y'all want to do? You didn't want to second Commissioner Riddle's motion to
just
buy the
want to
new
discuss it
Etnire?
while we're here because it's a lot to soak in all the decisions. So we're all here, and we know we like it. I mean, our guys liked it.
And the other thing is that the training that we'll get, that we won't get anywhere else. And the fact that they'll come back every year and revamp the thing, make sure that the computer, everything's putting out together. I think that's important that we get it, and that we get a machine like this. And then this one the one we've got is over, it's at least in the 70 models, everybody's saying.
At least 40 years old.
That's 40 years old. If this lasts 40 years, 284,000. And talking to Carl Johnson, what we've had left over from the unit system, the 100 grand we used, that million we used, then the 250 and the 300 we put in, there's enough money to buy this now without any, in that fund to buy this machine. I talked to him about this, what he thought and so forth. He said, if we bought one, we need to buy one now, and we could.
Okay.
You know more about that.
Yeah, we got the money, we probably won't get this opportunity. And it's safer, hauling it down the road. And we just can't find nothing any newer in that Etnire brand. Was that 2005? Almost 5,000 hours on them. And they're going to try to go through them, and they look like ours. If you put them side by side, you couldn't tell them apart. The things look, they've been down the road, I'll say that.
You want him to make his motion again?
Yes, I hate to spend this much money, but I know what the good it does. I tell you what we've done so far is awesome. So, we'll make a motion.
We're going to try it again. Make a
Okay.
motion by Commissioner Riddle, purchase a new Etnire brand, $284,440 that you can have here by the middle of July.
And I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You did a good sales job. All right.
It's a Cadillac. It's going to be nice.
Okay, motion passes. Is that unanimous? All right, unanimous decision to purchase a $284,440 Etnire. Okay, who needs this back in order to
We'll
complete
turn this
this?
into, and Joyce needs a copy of it.
All right, we will move on to item number 9, open and review bids possibly approved for asphalt sand, cold mix, hot mix, limestone rock asphalt, and high performance cold mix. So was this on the agenda 2 weeks ago?
The high performance wasn't, for sure.
It was.
It was in there with that cold mix D and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
I just didn't
Okay,
catch
so
that.
what were we doing over the last couple of weeks? Was it reviewing the bids that came in, or did any of these have a new bid come in?
Did we get another one on pea gravel,
Yes, we.
other than driving to get it?
Those
Okay.
two came in. One said they had sent it, but the
Uh-huh.
envelope was empty.
Okay, so there was something strange about the bid process.
right.
It's not that these are new products. Okay, well,
They
I'm
were
going
gonna name their own price.
to start with Longview Asphalt. Which one of these would they be bidding on? Anybody know, or which products?
Number, wait a minute, number 9.
Yeah.
Those three are for the number 9.
Okay, are they all bidding on all these products?
I don't know exactly what they're bidding on, but they're for the.
Okay, we're gonna find out. Okay, Longview Asphalt, here we go. We've got hot oil sand, 83 a ton delivered, 65 picked up. Hot oil sand, 83 delivered, 65 picked up from Longview Asphalt. Cold mix, type D, 95 and 77. $95 a ton delivered, 77 picked up. And then their final quote for type D hot mix, 94 a ton, 76 picked up. So $1 less than cold mix, 94 a ton and 76 a ton, delivered or picked up. Let's see. And then they did not provide a bid on the type D hot mix applied or laid down, nor did they quote plant mix seal on a 500-ton minimum. Does all that make sense? Okay, let's compare that to last year. Hot oil sand. Longview was 75. I'm assuming that was delivered last year, so they're up $8 over last year. And their picked up price remains the same as last year at $65. That's just for your information. That's what they bid last year. And they were not the low bids last year. All right, any questions on that? I'll move on. Next envelope from RK Hall. Hot oil sand delivered 73, picked up 67. Do we normally pick up or have them deliver on this stuff?
Delivered, I do.
Okay, so we mainly want to focus on that delivered price. Here it is, $10 less than Longview. 73 picked up is 67, which is $2 higher than Longview. Moving on to the cold mix, $74 delivered. That compares with 95 Longview, and 68 picked up. That compares with 77 Longview. And then hot mix, 78. That compares with 94 Longview, and picked up price 72, which is $4 less than Longview. They have added an additional bid for high performance. Greenville plant, 122.75 delivered. That must be
Same as last year.
super good stuff.
It is.
122.75 was the same as last year. They did not give us a bid on that product from Drake or Longview.
No, because it's coming out of Greenville, so
Okay.
it would be way too expensive
Do
for
we
us
even
to try
use
to
the
hold.
high performance?
Yes.
Sometimes we
Yes.
do.
During the wintertime,
During the
it's the
wintertime.
best we can get.
Okay. I will move on to Drake. So that'll make the same bidders as we got last year, Hall, Drake, and Longview. Pretty exciting, isn't it? All right. Okay, hot oil sand, just to kind of go in the same order. This is Drake's price, $76.10. He's right in there in between Longview and RK Hall. Type D cold mix at $78.10. So he's in between also. And then lastly, type D hot mix at $81.80. So he's in between there also. Then he gives us a type F cold mix. What is that? $83.90 for type F cold mix. The Type D hot mix laid down, he's giving you a price of $119.50. And a plant mix seal at 500 ton minimum, $135.60. So again, on your delivered prices, it looks like your clear winner is RK Hall. On the delivered for sure, and very close on the picked up. The Type D cold mix, RK Hall is the winner at 74, and Type D hot mix, 78, RK Hall, and then also the high performance being the only bid. The only one that gave you a Type D hot mix delivered and laid down was Drake at $119.50, and plant mix seal, $135.60. Okay, are those all the bids we've got? Okay. Any motion want to come out of that?
Make a motion, we approve those bids, accept them.
And does that mean we are only allowed to buy from the lowest, or you know the prices and you
As available.
buy as available at the price that they've stated?
So if RK Hall is busy, they won't be.
Lucky to catch
So
this.
sometimes you may not get the price that you want because it's not available.
Right.
Okay, so the motion was to approve all of these bids from each of these vendors. Second by
Riddle.
Commissioner Riddle, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that didn't give us a bid for, do we have some bids for asphalt rock and asphalt rock? Okay, no. Okay, let's go to the item number 10. This is the lawn maintenance contract, and we had two bids, and we were awaiting a third, so you table it. Now we have the third one, I guess. So these were not opened last week. First one is this is ROK Enterprises. I think that's the one you were waiting on, Luke Dufresne. Is that the one that you were waiting on? His monthly to be paid in 12 equal installments, $725. $725 over 12 installments. ROK Enterprises. Here is the next one. Those together. This is David Stanley, who's currently providing our service. He has gone to $1,195 a month over 12 months. He told me that there would be a significant increase. So $1,195 from Stanley's, our current supplier. Third and final bid from Wilbanks Lawn Care out of Cookville. Stephen Wilbanks, $1,362.91 per month for a total annual of $16,355. So it's my understanding that ROK is the replacement and bought out Nick Lewis that was alternating there for a while with Stanley's being our provider. So there's your three.
Make a motion, we accept that ROK.
Motion's made to accept ROK's bid of $725 a month. Second by Commissioner Riddle, and the motion was Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 11, crushed iron ore. Seaton Construction. I think that's pretty typical. $15 a yard picked up at the pit in Avenger. $20 a yard picked up at the yard in Cookville. So all these prices are picked up. Is that typical? $15 Avenger, $20 Cookville. That was the same as last year, although last year he gave a delivered price. He's not given a delivered price this year. All right, need a motion to accept that?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Applewhite to accept the one and only bid from Seaton for iron ore.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 12, open and bids and possibly approve for washed gravel. That's 3/8 inch to number 10 size. And who was our provider there last year? Gravel. Okay, so we had Marietta bid last year, but we don't have a bid from them this year. Okay, your gravel, number 10, wash pea gravel from H.E. Span, $24.72 per ton delivered, $24.72. Am I comparing that right to last year's? Well, either way, that's your only bid. H.E. Span, $24.72 per ton delivered on washed pea gravel, 3/8 to number 10. If we can get an approval for that.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Applewhite to approve.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 13, consider and possibly approve submission of the annual county maintained road mileage certification. We do this every year, and TxDOT gives us a number, and you can either approve, delay. 423 miles is the 2018 last year's certified miles. If you want to do that again, we need to tell TxDOT that we approve 423.
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Approve.
That's the one Roger turned in last year?
I think y'all had adjusted it down last year, as I recall. 423 was lower than previously. That's the one Roger turned in last year, 423. I've got a motion. Commissioner Applewhite to confirm this with TxDOT.
It's not on there. The question I had, the answer's not there.
What was the question? Who turned it in? Roger?
Yeah, and about what precinct? I mean, this is just all of them, the total miles.
Yeah, this is total
Yes, total
miles.
miles.
Yeah,
Total miles. It's what we voted on last year.
right.
So got a motion,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, that one will need to be signed. Let me go ahead and sign that. Okay, we're down to item 14, approve oral and written reports.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve oral and written reports.
A motion to approve is made by Commissioner Parker,
Second.
second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Treasurer's report is item number 15 for approval.
Thank you, David.
Make a motion.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report is made by Commissioner Applewhite, second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 16, I understand there are no budget amendments. Item number 17, signed pay orders, approved bill payments.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
Motion's made to pay by Commissioner Parker,
Second.
second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, closing comments. Our front steps, courthouse steps, though, we'll have a pre-construction meeting July 1, and I don't know how quickly he'll start work after that. I guess fairly quickly. They've been accumulating the necessary materials for that job, so hopefully during the month of July we'll get that knocked out. The animal shelter, the recently completed animal shelter that the city built, will have an open house for the grand opening this Friday, the 28th at 10 a.m. This Friday at the new shelter there by your maintenance barn, 10 a.m. this Friday. That's all I have. Commissioner Parker?
The only thing I've got is we're having that benefit that I talked about a couple of meetings back for the Thomas and
Patty Thomas and Ashley Harbor.
And Ashley Harbor, having that benefit out at the Preferred Hangar this coming Saturday night, the 29th. There'll be a meal, $10, and then be a live auction, silent auction, and also.
What time does that begin?
It starts at 6.
Starts at 6.
Mm-hmm. Meal will start at 6, and we're going to try to get the auction started by 6:30.
Preferred Hangar,
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, 29th.
I just want people just bear with us on the roads, and we can't start shredding, but we're going to try. We're side cutting, but we just hope they'll just bear with us because of the rain and stuff. We've had it's not just a little, we had a whole lot. We got trees down, everything.
Will dry up this week,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. It's supposed to rain Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you.
We
I'm
picked
good.
up 12 trees over on it at 1905, or 1910 rather, the other day. The North Road.
Good.
I'm good.
Commissioner Riddle?
Nothing.
All right, we will take a brief recess. I think I've got probably Higginbotham Insurance and UMR in the hallway waiting for our quarterly workshop to discuss performance on our health plan. So it is 10 till. Let's try to be back in our seats at 5 till, please. If there's nothing else, I will not adjourn until we're done with UMR, but if there's nothing else, we'll recess for 5 minutes.
Doris, who did you recruit to this other one? That's the original recruitment. You say you need to
To Joyce.
Sign it, boy. What's wrong with you?
Okay, good.
Sign that. What's wrong?
Just keep it. I think I had a Commissioner Reynolds copy.
And laugh when I said something about signing it. That is totally disrespectful to the office you hold and to the taxpayers of Titus County. That he can't even sign in or the 20 requirement that we pay the salary as taxpayers. I'm not kidding. When a man can stand and laugh when I hand him a sheet of paper that is ungodly, unrealistic in 2019.
What are we talking about?
Handed McRae a sign-in sheet, and he would not sign it in, nor did he hand it to the other firemen standing there.
That's not your problem.
No, it's not, but it totally shows what they are, disrespectful. And that's the truth. In 2019, of a woman, because she handed it to him, he didn't like that, huh? I think you guys better start asking yourself, what kind of people are you? God, what a total disappointment. I'm discouraged.
Is that your fault? Maybe it's Jimmy's fault.
I'm tired of getting the blame. I'll just blame me anyway. Just blame me, don't matter.
Like a good women boy.
So that's just a copy of that.
Clint needed to stay here, I think. I said, maybe Clint needed to stay in here or come back with me.
Please quit lying. I'm at the point, he don't like what I do, I need to carry somewhere. I have never, he come down today and said, don't fix the air conditioner back up. Then he come down a week later, why aren't you fixing his back up? You told us not to.
His man's gone. I'm telling you, his man is gone.
Did you find what you were looking
I sure did. I found it. Found my cat.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good.
Text my flashlight.
Right, yeah, you have to get that. Okay, well.
I got my dog. Yeah.
You know how to get on here.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, we're going to take one of yours.
well, I showed I'm going to be gone. We're leaving Thursday morning. In San Francisco. Yeah, his road situation be fine. People, like I said, I had a guy. Let me be patching. I said, patch. He was patching the water. Well, it's just, it don't set up. None of this stuff we put down is going to stay to the ground's too wet. That's going to come. That road's going to come up. Them two roads, they're going to come up.
Two that he done,
They ain't going to
I
stop.
guarantee you, within a year's time, they're gonna be gone.
Because he wanted to get the
Because he wanted to be the first one to do it.
He got out there on the side.
You won't stay home like very long if you're working that many people, so. How you doing?
I was thinking of it, I was thinking of it, I was like, oh, no, so excited. I never have seen a man so excited. He was,
Take up a year.
I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, almost daily. Improved. So, I mean, we achieved it. I don't know, I got Daniel coming back, in September. He'll be back with me October 1st, so.
I was excited. I never seen him like that. He come back.
So well, you know this or not, he's gonna be the pastor at Calvary Chapel. Dave retired, quit.
Divided up by years to see if it's worth
Yeah,
it.
this just happened last Sunday, so, or Sunday before last, yeah. He's gonna be by vacation. That was his desire to build a
Yeah,
local church.
that was a good deal.
While he worked, he's going to mission field, if I understand.
Yeah.
He didn't show any sign of the back end.
Oh, wait, likes it, keeps it forever. It's good one time.
Anyway.
Telling me all the
Oh, really? Oh, really?
And anyway,
So-
can't use it coming out.
But yeah, so
Somehow
coming back, so
saves all the gravel. Somehow
they're gonna live, we bought
draws
a
the
farmhouse right across the road from us. They're gonna be, kids being bicycle riding.
just
and
as
so
free ahead of time somehow. And
they're gonna live there until they figure out what they wanna do, or they probably wind up still. So, yeah, so we're excited, for sure.
Last one we'll ever need.
Yeah, tell him I didn't understand a word. He's excited.
He'll be happy. I don't think he takes, so I have to tell him in person. I don't think he does. He'll be excited.
I got to show him. I said, show me how to take a picture.
Okay, it is 10:56, and we will go into our final agenda item for the day, and that is a workshop with Higginbotham. So we have Steve Capps, Tony Melton, and then from UMR we have Chris Kaplinger. So I will be quiet and turn it over to whoever would like to begin this next phase.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come out today. I do appreciate it. In your folder is a spiral binder, and there are a couple of tabs. I do want to apologize up front that my pharmacy reporting didn't come in until I'd already had these bound. So the pharmacy for the same time period is slid at the end of each of these sections. So what I'd like to start with today is to go through the plan performance and the analytic report, and this is based on the 2018 data. So it's all of 2018, how the plan ran. Then behind that, I've got an updated report as to how 2019 is looking. And please, at any time, stop, ask questions, whatever you need answers on, I'll be here to help you. So if you turn to page 2, the only thing I wanted to point out on page 2 is that this criteria of this report is based on your peers, but it's not counties. It's more of the UMR book of business for groups with fewer than 500 members included, which it consists of 1,547 groups for customers, and that population is over 400,000 members that are included in this report.
Is that all people that are on self-funded plans?
Yes, sir. It is UMR self-funded customers. Yep. So it's more, it'll give you a better idea on your size group, how the peers within that same membership look and are running in a comparison. So page 3 is a really good analysis and looking at a 5-year trend as to how the plan has been running. And you can see that 2014, your high-cost claimants, which are the dark orange, versus the non-high-cost claimants. And this is, a high-cost claimant is anyone that incurs $25,000 in paid medical and pharmacy claims or above. But you trended down in 2015 very favorably. However, 2016 and 2017, your high-cost claimants trended really, really high. Over the years, the county has continued to look for ways to improve the plan cost by still keeping, relatively good benefits for your members. And so you can see in 2018, you did a lot of improvements, and in addition to that, some of the high-cost claimants did come off your plan. So your 2018 year looked very favorable in a claimants. I mean, they dropped dramatically. As a matter of fact, there was a 52% decrease in your high-cost claimants from 2017.
That's in number or dollars?
That is in a percentage of the dollars spent on a per member per month basis. Page 4, this is, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is our demographic summary, and pretty much your demographics, I mean, you did have a slight increase in your membership population from 2017 to 2018, almost 6%, and an increase, and your family size, so how many people covered their dependents and their spouses. So it actually increased as well, almost 6%. But nothing really stood out to concern me on the change in the population. In looking at page 5, this is all really positive news for 2018. You can see at the top on the left-hand side under the total plan dollars year over year. Now we're looking at a 3-year trend. The first line shows that your membership did increase from 2017 to 2018. But your medical bill dollars right off the top, this is before discounts, ineligibles, or anything, dropped 43% to just at $3 million. You look at ineligible charges at $249,000 that was removed from the $3 million. Ineligible consists of benefits that aren't covered under the plan. We also remove any benefits where we need additional information on. So if we're asking for accident details or other insurance, we'll remove them from the billed dollars because we can't pay them at this time. So they're ineligible for processing.
Why was that so high last year?
Because you had more high-cost claimants, and in doing additional research and audits on the bills and things like that, we found where there were not certain benefits that should not have been billed, it should not have been covered under the plan.
Did that cause any catastrophes for any of our members that, well, I didn't know this?
No, we haven't had.
I don't remember it.
Nope. And there's also duplicates in there. So if you have some hospital claims, sometimes they'll submit them and then they'll submit them again. Just the timing of when they finally release their, if you have a large bill, a large hospital bill, they'll submit it, but it'll take them, it can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days to get a hospital bill submitted because they're pulling together all the services. But once they submit it, they tend to quickly resubmit another one.
And what's the turnaround time? Is it, if it's submitted after, is it after 60 days or is it 180 now that it's declined?
Oh, 180.
So, and I've seen a lot of times providers that'll submit charges too late, and after that.
Well, on the full self-funded plans, they still have a 12-month filing period,
Okay.
but an appeal is only 180 days.
Okay.
So if we processed a claim and they've appealed it, but I generally get, when there's a large claim that's being appealed, I'll get a heads up to notify you all.
We didn't see any
And
appeals.
none of that has occurred, because we don't want to have, anyone caught off guard and have a member come in and ask you questions. So we try to get a heads up on that, but we haven't had any of that. So now if you remove the $250,000 of ineligible, that leaves medical covered at 2.7. You can see that the discount is the amount that was taken off of that. Your discount averaged 60% on all claims for the 2018 time period. Almost 60%, I believe. Leaving the medical allowed now from $3 million to $1.1 million. OOP stands for out of pocket, so that's what the members' cost share was. Deductibles, co-insurance, co-pays. So that was taken care of by the members. There was some third-party insurance and coordination of benefits. There was someone that actually their insurance paid primary and the plan paid secondary. Leaving your net medical paid for 2018 at $878,000. Again, a drop of 43.5% from the previous year. Keep in mind that in 2017 we had a lot more high-cost claimants, so we had a lot more of the 25,000 plus claims that came in, and those have subsided substantially for 2018.
If you were to remove high-cost claimants out of both of these years and looked at nothing but non-high cost, are we running about the same there? Are we getting a little better?
Actually, at page 7, that's what we did. So if you want to jump to page 7, we'll come back and go through page 6. But on the lower portion called capped dollars, so what that does is we took the represents total. So what capped dollars is represents the total cost if claims were capped at $25,000 plus. So you can see from 2017 to 2018. Even taking the high-cost claimants out. Now, this is just comparing the previous year, so I don't have the 2017 to 2016. But you still ran, very favorable to at an even scale of all $25,000 claimants taken out.
Now, Brian, you can also go back to page 3 and look at your 5-year run right there.
Thank you.
You went from, you've been pretty consistent. 2016 kind of got a little high, but, about 2.25 is what you're running for your non-high cost claims, which is surprisingly consistent.
Where do you see that 2.25 figure?
So you're, like 2014, that's your light colored orange. So you got 220, 208, 264, 228, 226. I'm just,
Oh, you're looking at the bar chart.
Yeah, there's a bar over there. So, so that's your claims that were non-high cost claims. So just your normal run-of-the-mill stuff. So it looks like we're doing a pretty good job of controlling those costs. High cost claimants sometimes you're going to have a bad deal every now and then, but your normal run-of-the-mill stuff is pretty consistent,
Did we really wear out our stop loss coverer there last year? And now they've gotten some relief, or a lot of those
2017, you hit them pretty hard now. 2018, I guess we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah, so you still had a couple of claimants that hit the specific deductible in 2018. And this year, for 2019, no one has hit yet. You've got 2 claimants that have already come to 50% of the deductible. One of them, I believe, is not going to exceed the deductible. It's
50% of the 60,000?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So there's 2 people out there. Now, there's still one that they may hit the $50,000 deductible for this year. And knock on wood, you know, we continue to stay that just one of them, but, and that would make the stop loss renewal, you know, less than trend, hopefully.
Good.
Any other questions on page 5? If you move to page 6, so basically we took the dollars that were paid on page 5 and we put them into categories by, are they on the top, it's impacted by members that are age 65 and above, or 64 and less than 65. But then what I like to look at is, so, you know, on the top, the 2018, your 65 plus employees that are still on the plan, whether they're active employees, because a retiree does drop off at 65, but they could have been 64 and they didn't drop off until they hit 65 and they still could have incurred claims in this plan year. So their claims were up. You know, you'll see that in the red. They were up by about 55% in the medical allowed on a per member per month basis, and your pharmacy was up about, actually, you know, your pharmacy trended down for the 65 plus. But what I really like to concentrate on and look at is on the claim payment by relationship. Where were these dollars being spent? Is it your employees? Is it the spouses that are covered, or is it the children? And there really isn't a big concern. Your employee costs for 2018 actually dropped quite significantly. You can see on the green and the change column. On the medical and the pharmacy and then the total paid, the dollars changed on the employees, meaning the less cost was by 50.8%, so almost 51% reduction in your employee costs. Your spouses, they pretty much on the medical stayed fairly flat. There was a slight decrease, but the pharmacy for the spouses went up slightly, and we'll talk about that in a few more pages when we look at the high-cost claimants. Because there's some spouses that are covered that their treatment and their condition is being managed through the pharmacy programs. And then children, the same thing with children. Not a lot of dollars spent, but you do have you know, a slight spike in the pharmacy for the children coverage. Looking at page 7, now we start looking at truly just your high-cost claimants. So this shows that in 2017, for all of 2017, you actually had 19 members that hit $25,000 and above. And for 2018, you only had 9. So that was a 52% decrease. But the substantial thing was in the total dollars paid. For 2017, there was $1.3 million paid out on high-cost claimants, and for 2018, there was only $530,000. And then again, we've already talked about the cap dollars, so you're actually looking. And compared to norms, so this is a page that has the UMR norm comparison. So in looking at your high-cost claimants, even in 2018, you were slightly above the norm, even though you improved significantly. And then if you look at the cap dollars table below, you are actually you're flat on the paid per member per month on the cap dollars, and then on the, that's on your true paid, but the paid at the cap, you are slightly above. Meaning that your population, when you take out those high cost claimants, you still came in slightly above on the UMR norm. Now we look at the high-cost claimants on page 8, and what I'm looking at here and what I looked at here was I look at a couple of things. The medical ranks, so looking at where they were on compared to 2017, and your top 4 claimants, they really didn't change in their category as to where they were listed in 2017. Now number 5, where it says greater than 99, what that means is if you were to remove, if you come over to the middle column that says calendar year or CY paid RX, so this person had very few or very little medical costs whatsoever, only $848 in 2018, but they managed their condition through prescription drugs. So what that greater than 99 means is if you remove the prescription drugs, they wouldn't even be a high-cost claimant. You have 6 people who were termed in 2018. And then a couple other categories I look at is your admits, and we'll talk about why I look at these further back, but you had number 2 was admitted twice to the hospital for 18 days. Number 3 was admitted 3 times to the hospital for 28 days, and then number 6 is also readmitted 3 times for 20 days. And the reason I bring that up is readmissions, when someone is readmitted to the hospital from an initial stay, unfortunately those readmission costs can triple what the initial admission was. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. The condition flared up again and caused for them to readmit. They maybe didn't follow up with their doctor. It didn't take the corrective action of their discharge treatments, so they got readmitted for that. So we'll talk about your readmissions for 2018, and then on the next report we'll show that there's been no readmissions for 2019. So we're going in a positive trend. I hope you see that as well. And then the number of ER visits, really looking down through these, I did not see where there was a lot of unnecessary ERs. That's been something we've talked about over the last 2-3 years, and the folks are doing a really good job of using the ER appropriately. If you move to page 9, this is a good synopsis of what is it going to look like? What are these high-cost claimants on page 8 going to look like as far as cost goes for next year, or for this year, for 2019? And really, there's only one person that hits 4 stars. 5 stars is they're going to average really large costs, so you have no one at the 5 stars. And then you've only got one person at 4 stars. And currently, one thing that is not happening is, that's patient number 9, is they're not engaged in our case management program, which is unfortunate because we like to see that happen so that we can help them out with any type of scenarios. If they have questions, the nurse is not there to manage where they go or anything like that. The nurse is there to help them with questions. We're there to learn about their treatment plan from the physicians if they'll allow us to contact their physicians. What we will do is we will steer them or make them aware when they're given an opportunity told or guidance as to where to go for treatment. We will make them aware that there may not be a benefit out of network for that treatment if they go there, or that provider's out of network, and then we can help find an in-network provider for them to go to. So it's always good to try and see a high-cost claimant get into case management. And we do make several outreaches. We do 3 phone calls, then we send them a letter letting them know that we tried to contact them. And at any time, this person can re-engage or get engaged with a case management nurse. It's not one and done type opportunity.
Do we have some of them that are saying no thank you, or we're not able to reach them, or?
So you can see claimant number 2 and claimant number 4. You can see UM stands for utilization management. So that's what prior authorization stands for. I mean, you're going to be hospitalized, or there's a list of conditions or a list of treatments that require prior authorization before they can be admitted to the hospital and things like that. So, and the uppercase means that the provider, the facility, or the member called, they got their prior authorization. The uppercase CM stands for case management, and by uppercase, it means they're engaged with a nurse. The number 9 is there's no CM at all, so there's been no engagement since the condition started.
That means they're not answering the phone,
Right.
they're telling you no thank you.
It could be a combination of one or the other. Yep. A lot of times what I hear is they don't answer the phone, and it's because when our nurses call, they're calling from an 800 number. And I'm guilty of it. I don't answer 800 numbers. I hope they leave a message on my phone, and I'll listen to it. And if it's someone that I want to call back, I will. Now, because of PHI, and we're very stringent on that, our message is just going to say that we're a case management nurse with UMR. We'd like to talk to you. And that's it. We're not going to say about your condition or anything like that, because what if that person who listened to that message is not the patient? We can't violate their PHI, so we have to leave a vague message. It's unfortunate. I've tried to...
How can we improve that?
Well, I've been trying to think of ways. One of the things that we can talk about is during open enrollment this year, we can mention what case management is and educate people on it. We've got a really good brochure on it, so we can hand that out, or maybe talk about something in the guide where we can talk about, hey, a nurse might call you for a certain condition, and they have a list of the conditions that, and you know, ask them, if you get a call, would you please at least call them back? You may, after you hear them, not want to engage, but at least give them the opportunity to talk to you.
And if the claims get such, can't case management monitor it anyway?
Yes.
Even if they don't say that they approve
Yes.
it? So if you look at 9, the claims have not gone to the point probably where that would have sparked a trigger.
Right, not at this point, yep.
Do we have anybody in the county that could be the liaison and just say, hey, we just want to make you aware of this service?
Can you do
not
that?
getting those kind of generic calls in this day of robocalls. I might not
I know.
respond either.
I absolutely agree with you.
Well, what we could do, if you've got the brochure, rather than waiting for open enrollment, it could be
sure.
distributed now.
Yeah.
I mean, we could put that out, maybe y'all could stuff it in. Do you send out, like, I know you do payroll automatically, but is there any kind of a stub that goes out with,
Who's our employee that knows who's having the medical problems? Is it
it would be Sharon.
Cheryl's most knowledgeable?
Well, in Sharon.
Sharon is, Sharon's aware of that, because Sharon gets the notifications from UMR, and this is an employee, so number 9 is an employee.
But
Because if they're retired, they may be on the benefit plan. We have some that are on the benefit plan.
Would that be inappropriate to have Sharon call them and they'll respond to Sharon?
We could take these numbers.
if you don't want to kind of step into that PHI circle, you might just, if there's a brochure, we could just give it to everyone, if thinking that might be just a way to make people aware of what case management
That'll
is.
take care of a small percentage of it. It won't be as effective as a personal call.
Well, what do you think?
Do both.
Yeah, I can let Sharon know who the patient is and see if a call can be made.
They don't have to discuss.
And I can give
situation.
I can give Sharon the name of the nurse and the direct extension, and Sharon can just call and say, were you aware we have a case management nurse
Who's
that's
trying to reach you?
Yeah, and leave it at that, and give them the nurse's name and phone number.
And you can have a, concierge communication with UMR to,
Well, if you're gonna
help
do-
you at every turn.
If you're going to do that, would you want to do the $3 signs as well?
Sure.
The ones that are 3, maybe 3 and 4?
Absolutely. So we can target all of these folks that are the $3 signs and the $4 signs.
So you're going to be providing Sharon the list?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, that conversation might open up the in-network versus out-network
Absolutely.
options, and
And since we're looking at 2018 data right now, there's another large claim report that's on the next report that I'm going to show you for 2019. And what we might do, I'll do a comparison. Are these the same people? And are they still on the plan? And then I could look and see, where maybe they've gotten engaged by now. And then I'll give Sharon the most up-to-date information.
If nothing else, we put something in their paycheck.
It'll be generic.
She'll just know the names, and she won't know anything else.
Yeah.
Just who it may be subject, who has been contacted by case manager.
Right.
And had
More of a
been.
generic.
And I'll talk to Sharon of why we're doing this since she's out today and ask
I'm
her.
gonna let Carl know.
Okay.
Carl know too.
Okay.
He might, I don't know if he'll have any input on that.
Okay. Great suggestion, thank you. Now, page 10, we're looking at our key indicators. So what this does is it's looking at your inpatient admissions, your ER and urgent care visits. So in all of these slides has a peer comparison and a UMR norm. So looking at our entire book of business, the peers are in your group range. So your admits per thousand actually went up for 2018. And your average length of stay also increased. And your per admission payments, even though the plan ran better, you still had quite a few admissions and their average length of stay. Remember I said that had three admissions with 30 days, and then there was another one with 20 days. This is where you're seeing that at. And then the readmission rate. So that was extremely high. It was well above your peers and our norm at 13.3%. And again, I jumped ahead and looked at the 2019 data, and you're back to zero again on your readmissions. ER is all positive in that your ERs dropped on a per 1,000 basis from 304 to 193. So it dropped 36.5%. Now we did make the, did we make that plan change in 2018? I think you actually made the true ER plan change in 2017.
Yeah.
And so,
last year was your report.
yep, it was, so you made a plan change in 2017 where to use the ER, you had the ER benefit as a true ER, and then if you still went to the ER and it was deemed non-true, meaning it was non-emergent, then you had to pay a higher cost for it. And you can see that you had a dramatic decrease in that. Plus, I think you had an urgent care facility up here open up that helped members to find a different place to go versus the emergency room. And then you can see that, in 2017, you had no urgent care utilization, but in 2018, that improved quite a bit. And your average cost on the urgent care was $149 versus your average cost on the ER was $2,249. So that is great that there was a higher utilization.
Can you check and see of these urgent cares because I found out about middle of, probably the spring, that the Healthcare Express is not contracted as an urgent care.
Oh.
It is, but they're filing it as an office visit.
Oh, that's good.
Do you have a report?
Let me look here.
And the reason being is that they said that they don't have enough visits that fall under that urgent care to be able to get contracted. Everybody as an urgent care. But if they're going to it, I think that they're...
Healthcare Express?
Yeah. So they're probably better off filing it as an
office visit. Yeah, absolutely. But I'll check.
Okay. So be interested to know where the 72 came from.
Now that's on a per thousand basis, so... but I can pull an urgent care report and show you where they're going. Okay. All right. Now, I do want to, we have another customer in this area, and it's with one of my coworkers. And one of the things that they're seeing utilization on is a facility called Hospitality ER. And it's primarily based in Longview, but it's not contracted, and they are very, very, very expensive.
Well, and the bill just was passed this past week too about.
Did you see the bill though? Any solid funded clients did not make it out of committee.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So what the legislation and what Governor Abbott just signed about the balance billing and the ER utilization and things like that, I don't have all the details yet. I just saw a snippet of it. I'm waiting for our legal team to recapture and give it all to me in layman's terms so I can share it with you as my customer. But I did find out what I found out earlier this year, because I had it going on with a customer out of Wichita Falls, is legally you can exclude out-of-network facilities. You can't exclude under healthcare reform that physician going to an ER, but you can exclude that out-of-network facility. So my recommendation before you today, and I know you'll have to take it back and vote on it, and the nice thing is you've had no one use that facility, but what I heard from my coworker is they're advertising in this area now. It's called Hospitality ER. They also go under the name Longview ER. And it's not Longview Regional. It's a freestanding facility where, I mean, I Googled them and I looked them up, and
They're the ones on the loop, and there's another one that's Excel.
yes, Excel.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're also built another one in Paris. I don't know who is doing that. I think.
I don't know either.
But there's a brand new in Paris on the loop.
And is it called?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll look it up.
But the problem with this is that I've seen bills of somebody walking in and they're saying, do you take my
Yes.
insurance? Oh yeah, we'll take your insurance. And then they bill like $40,000. Had a group in Paris that the guy just went there for like a sore throat. Seriously, it was, I don't know what they did, but they billed $40,000 for that guy. And that was on a Blue
For an
Cross
outpatient?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told that whether this is true or not, that if they get one person a day, they're making a profit.
So
They give you food.
yeah, that was the other thing. We read, we Googled them and we read the reviews, and all the reviews were very positive, because one lady said that she was there longer than they expected her to be, so they did Uber Eats and brought her in dinner, and dinner for her family who was sitting there with her. So they're sparing no expense to keep this patient comfortable, but it's coming back on the plan. So and I'm always going to be your advocate to do what's best for the plan, in addition to not try to hurt your employees in any way. There are plenty of freestanding facilities around. So what I'd like to do here today is I'll send you, Judge, an email and specifically name these two out-of-network facilities, and you can exclude them. No one's using them at this time, and exclude them now. And that way, when they go there, when that provider looks it up, they'll have to tell them they are excluded from their benefits.
But one thing y'all do need to know is the state just did pass a bill that protected fully insured groups. And like she said, I forgot that they excluded self-funded.
Yeah.
So you might want to send an email to your representative or whatever to say that. And there was some detail about it, that it had been in discussion, but then it got booted out at the very last minute.
Right.
But this is a bill that's been up for legislation the past 2 years, that didn't pass last year, but to at least pass half of it for fully insured is a step, and needs to be passed for everybody else, for self-funded groups as well. But it was the other part was balanced billing. Mm-hmm. So you maybe go to an out-of-network provider, maybe be in the hospital, and an anesthesiologist or a radiologist or somebody comes in and does something to you, which we've got that problem with people going to the hospital everywhere, because you're in the hospital, you're in an emergency room setting, and you can't control who comes and does something to you, right? So the balanced billing portion of this bill actually, did it cap it for fully insured, or did it just say that they couldn't, if you were at the in-network facility, you couldn't receive a balance bill
I
from
think it
those
was more
providers?
that you couldn't receive a balance
Yeah.
bill.
And United Healthcare on the fully insured side has already got their ERAP claims anyway doing, where they're actually,
And the county put that in with the CRS Enhanced program, you put it in on 4/1 of this year. But I actually have another offer which is been expanded that I'm gonna bring and talk to you. I brought the brochure on it today to talk further about. And when we get to the network page, I'll discuss how that would work. But you already have a program in place where those true out-of-networks, those ER physicians, those radiologists, your hospitalists that are not part of the United Healthcare Network or they're not part of those silent networks, there is a program in place right now on your plan that went into place on April 1st where we will negotiate that on behalf of the member. And if they do get balance billed, they can call us and we will help them with that balance billing amount. And I've heard, obviously you all have not heard anything either because I've heard nothing from members getting balance billed on any of those charges. So that it's been a proactive. We've got the new program that came out on 5/1 goes a step further, and I'll talk about that in just a moment.
These ER places in Longview, would our employee not get a huge bill from their deductible?
Yes, they would.
Do they have to tell them that?
No, they don't have to tell them that. That's where that surprise bill, and that's what that's how it's labeled, I believe, in legislation. It's called the surprise billing.
Yeah.
And the provider does not
Well,
have
they say,
to.
yeah, we take your insurance.
Yes,
and then get
that's
a bill,
what they
yeah,
say.
well, we took it, but we're out of network.
Right,
And you
yeah,
owe us
absolutely.
3 times as much as your county.
That's why
owes.
there's a big difference in saying, do you accept my insurance? Yeah. Or
And that's why-
they'll accept it, but are they a contracted provider in that network?
And these two facilities have shown the biggest abuse. I mean, that hospitality ER, when you Google, I've got a client in Longview and they've got a patient that won't stop going there and they wash his car while he's there. They will wash his car. I am not lying to you. I've got full testimony from them, from the patient. He has told his employer, they've washed my car. So I would
Well, I wonder
like
if they're
to.
waiving his deductible.
Yes, they are. They're waiving his deductible. They're waiving his out-of-pocket because he's coming to see them. And they know that they can get paid more than trying to track him down for his deductible and out-of-pocket. So I'd like to recommend, and I'll send an email for you all to, look at it further. Again, the nice thing is you've had no one using this facility, so the sooner we can get this in place, then we won't have that huge cost to the plan because the member won't feel anything. They really won't. They will waive everything for them.
And that wasn't the case with my member at another group that was a fully insured small group. They got hounded for the $40,000.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the key indicator page you want to talk about? I do want to, no, not on this report. I'm going to talk about, well, actually, before we jump off of this, down where it says office visits and outpatient surgery, the third line where it talks about well visits per 1,000, you can see we've had a positive momentum from 17 to 18. You had, now this is on a per 1,000, but your well visits increased. And I know that, this year we put in the biometric screenings and we've been getting really good momentum going with folks getting their biometric screenings done, doing their CHRAs, the clinical health risk assessment. I think we only have about 40 people who have yet to do it, but the rest have all done it. And a lot of spouses that have done it with them.
And Sharon gets a report on that
Every week.
Oh,
It's week.
Oh, okay.
It's weekly. Yep. And so mine is from last week.
Okay.
So if you turn to page 11, so in the folder, on either side of your folder, there are 2 one-page documents that kind of coincide with what I'm going to talk about on this page. So your network utilization, very good utilization. We've always had really strong utilization for staying in network. Now, in the upper the box, the gray or the teal box on the right-hand side, from 2017 to 2018, your network utilization increased from 82.6% to 93%. And the reason you had 82% is, when you have a lot of hospital stays, that's where you incur some of those out-of-network providers that have to be paid at the in-network benefit. So those are deemed out-of-network, though, when you're looking at utilization. That's why it was so low. But it went back up in 2018 to 93%. Your average discount achieved was greatly enhanced. A lot of that is due to the number of days in a hospital, too. So sometimes a hospital contract will go from a % of discount to a what we call a DRG, so based on revenue based versus a percentage based.
Meaning we're keeping more people in network.
Yes. So you've got more people in network, and then your discounts were even much stronger. You've always had really strong discounts, but it's staying, and now it's jumped up to the 60% where you had it in the 50s always. So you're continuing to increase the discounts. Real Appeal, that's our weight loss program. So you can see that you actually had $4,300 spent on Real Appeal, but I had offered, in 2018, I had offered a $2,500 credit that got applied towards that $4,300. So the plan didn't incur that entire $4,300. But you had a lot of people that did partake in the program.
A lot? What?
Well, it was less than 10, but on your size group, the population was, compared to what the Real Appeal population, that was a high trend.
Okay.
Yep. So, and the program's continued for 2019, and so it'll be one of those things that we remind people if they still want to partake in Real Appeal, they absolutely can. So your silent networks, this is the program we call cost reduction savings. We have 3 networks that are silent, and so a lot of times when the member goes to the hospital and they're in the hospital, it's inpatient, it's in network, the hospital is. A good scenario to say is you go in for surgery. It's a scheduled surgery. Your surgeon and the hospital you went to is in network. That after you have your surgery, you generally don't see your surgeon again until you're released from the hospital and you do a follow-up. The next person that comes in to see you is a hospitalist. They can be contracted by that hospital, or they can be independent. And if they are independent, unfortunately, they don't tend to contract. So that's where these silent networks come into play. They'll look and see if Dr. Smith, who's a hospitalist, contracted with First Health is the first network, that's the primary network, then Multi-Plan, and then Change Healthcare. So we captured $152,000 of those non-network providers that had to be paid, and we were able to apply a 48% discount to that $152,000. Like what I talked about earlier is so that's how that works. Now, down below on the true out-of-network, these are claims that they're not in any of the networks. They're not in the UHC network, they're not in any of the silent networks, but because you still offer some out-of-network benefits, they still have to be paid. So there was about $10,000 that were paid. We tried to achieve some discounts. Now, the reason there was only $2,900 paid by the plan is because the member paid the higher deductible, the lower coinsurance, so they had more cost for that $10,000. In April of this year, you put in that benchmark piece that falls into place after the cost reduction savings program goes into play, where we only at that time identified 4 categories. It was the ER physicians, the anesthesiologist, your lab and x-rays, and we paid them at a % of Medicare. What I'd like to offer, and you can either do it now and put it in place, or you can wait until 1/1. We've enhanced that program even more, and of course with a new change, we have a new name for it. It's called the CRS Benchmark. Couple of things that the benchmark piece will do is instead of just keying in on those 4 areas, we now will look at all dollars that were truly out of network, and we will run them at a % of Medicare. The other positive to the plan is currently whenever we achieve any type of discount, there's a 30% access fee. With the benchmark program, we're going to drop that access fee to 22%. So if you can see that of the $152,000, only $78,000 was allowed. So the difference between the 152 and the 78 was what we were able to capture in a discount, and that's where we applied a 30% access fee for those discounts we achieved. And that access fee is to pay for those silent networks that we put on your plan. We're going to lower that cap to 22% with the benchmark program. The members still have an advocate. Instead of using Change Healthcare with the enhanced program, we will move it to multi-plan, and then there's going to be 3 steps, but we're going to capture more of those out-of-network claims. Does that
That's kind of high-level stuff.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it's taking what you already did and making it more enhanced.
Yes.
Correct? And multi-plan, I would think, is a better network to capture a lot of this.
It's more broad.
It's a bigger network.
It's a bigger network.
So if you have out-of-network claims, multi-plan's probably going to cover most of them, I would think.
And they also will be the advocate for your members. So what we did on April 1st is we added that program, but we extended our language to the EOBs, or the explanation of benefits, to where if a member got balance billed, they could call
So
UMR.
they had to actually initiate something.
Yes.
The member did.
Yep.
With this, it's going to be automatic.
Well, they can still call. They still have to call, or they can call. And if they called UMR, we will give them the phone number for the advocate to help them talk about the balance billing and how to negotiate that down or remove it. Tony touched on this, is on the UHC fully insured plans, they've had the program you put in place in April, and they just now rolled up and put the benchmark program in place because it's stronger and it captures more of the out-of-network claims than just the anesthesiologists and the ER physicians. We're capturing hospitalists. We're capturing assistant surgeons. We're trying to, stay one step ahead of those out-of-network providers that just don't want to contract, just don't want to come to the table and talk about their overcharging services.
You don't understand why they do that, right? Don't know why providers don't contract? So they can balance bill.
Charge, that's right.
If they're not participating in the network, then they can send you a bill and you don't have any protection underneath the plan.
Right. And then the second piece to that is, again, this is a brand new program, and this is taking our bill audit one step further. This program is called your Advanced Claim Review. And I don't know if I recorded it, I didn't watch the whole thing, but on Friday night, I forget what station, at ABC or something, there's called a program, they've rolled out a show called Whistleblower. Have you all heard about it? This Friday night, the whistleblower was on a hospital and them overcharging for procedures. And I listened to a few minutes of it, then I had to go do something. So I recorded it because I really want to see, because it goes into a line is exactly what I brought here today. Our advanced bill audit, or claim review, I'm sorry. We standardly, and we are not changing the program, any claims at $25,000 and above go through a very rigorous audit. What we've identified here is on this left-hand side of this brochure, one of our companies within our parent company is a data integrity program. And they started looking, well, they've been looking, and they've rolled out and identified United Healthcare and UMR that they're seeing abuse in these charges over here.
And abuse meaning they're billing for procedures that weren't necessary when they did that type of surgery. Or the anesthesiologist is adding additional billing in his bill that weren't warranted for that procedure. So this program, there's no cost to either one of these programs. There's no PEPM cost to the plan whatsoever. There is that percent of savings access fee, but there's no hard PEPM fee. So none of this is going to impact the rates as they are today. What it's doing, though, is we're trying to manage your plan more tightly and dollars saved. And so by putting this program in place, we're going to identify any of the claims that fall under this category, and before the claim is even paid, we are going to do an audit on that claim. We're going to ask for medical records if they weren't submitted at the time the claim was billed. And once the medical records come in, we will audit that claim. If we identify that there are procedures that should not have been billed under that, we're going to have them denied. Now, there is an advocacy program if the provider bills the patient. We don't think the provider will, because we will have proof that they should not have billed with this.
And let me give you a great example with that. This is another United Healthcare with another group that's fully insured. But I had a person about 2 years ago that had a procedure done in the hospital here in Mount Pleasant. And she's been walking along, she's fine, she had cancer, she's doing well now. Well, in April, she was sent a bill that was something that was incurred from that stay, okay? And she was freaking out because it was over $1,000. So United Healthcare went back and looked and found out that this same provider had submitted other charges and they had been declined because they submitted them too late. Okay, so United Healthcare declined the charge because if you're in a network provider, you've got X amount of time to submit claims. Otherwise, they're just going to be flat denied. So what the provider did, the provider changed the PCP number and just changed it to another out-of-network person that they were contracted with out of Indiana to try to get that person to pay for that procedure. Same claim, they just submitted it again through another provider ID, another doctor's ID, and that doctor was out of network. So they thought, okay, well, we'll get her to pay this balance bill, but UHC caught it. And they said, you've already submitted this claim, and it was denied for timely payment. So you can't resubmit it again underneath another provider ID number and send it to this person for a balance bill. That's, I mean, maybe not exactly what she's talking about here, but by scrubbing that and seeing that, and the UHC provider actually called the facility and said, and they said, well, let us review that for audit. And sure enough, when we called back, they said, yeah, we've just scratched that claim. So she doesn't.
Is that not fraud? I mean, is that?
You would think.
It can be. And the other piece of this that the providers we feel like are going to be willing to accept is that if a provider disputes the claims we've denied, they actually have the opportunity to do a peer-to-peer review, meaning they will be able to talk, they'll be able to call in and talk to a doctor, not our customer service team, and discuss why they billed for that procedure. And then so it'll be, a negotiation or discussion. And if we stick to our guns, then they know that they cannot bill or should not be billing for it. But right now, there's no peer-to-peer. There's really, at a high level, it's reviewed, but we're actually going to look at all claims billed in these areas at $4,000 and above. And that's going to capture a lot more claims. It really is. But again, we're needing to concentrate on these areas because we are seeing a lot of unnecessary billing.
So how do we get this in place? There's no point waiting until the first
There's no
I will email
charge
you
for it,
and let you all go through your processes of what you need to do, and then all you have to do is email me back and say, yes, you want to put this in place. Both of these programs, I'll put them in. I'll give you the effective date of when we reasonably can put these on your plan without...
give me the appropriate wording.
Yep, absolutely.
This, and this.
Absolutely.
Anything that's going to help us, we want, I think we'll want to continue to approve and keep chipping away at this stuff.
Okay. All right. Time check, is everybody still, I don't want to rush, but I would like to get into the 2019 data because I want you to see that your changes, your thought process has really been a good one. So let me just kind of go through the rest of this report. Again, preventative on page 12, you know, there's really nothing there that's concerning. You can see that the well baby visits had a change, but you didn't have, you know, that's skewed because of how many times, depending on the age of that baby, as to when they go. Your cervical cancer is showing in red, but the the doctors in this area have changed from doing a cervical screening once a year to now once every 3 years. So we're still following the United States Task Force, which still recommends it once a year. So that's why your results are showing in red.
And can't the members ask to
Yeah.
have that done?
Yes, absolutely.
That might be another thing, because I know that. I mean, what she's saying is that the doctors are not doing pap smears, basically, but once every 3 years, but the plan will pay for an every year screening.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that may be another thing that we need to advise people to do, because it's definitely in their best interest to have it done.
Yep, and that is between them and their doctor, but they can ask for it, absolutely, and it will be paid by the plan. Page 13, this is looking at your top major diagnostic categories. So where do the most of your folks, whether they be a non-high cost claimant or a high cost claimant, fall into if they have seen a doctor and their conditions? So your top one major diagnostic category is circulatory. That is heart conditions, blood pressure, high blood pressure, things like that generally fall in circulatory. Respiratory is your asthmas. Your health status, you know, this is improved. You've done a lot of really good things about education, about getting your wellness exams, and health status also includes folks that have a condition, but they're maintaining it, they're doing the appropriate care for those conditions.
How do we go from, oh, never mind, I was looking through a number of patients under respiratory, 44 to 48, but the dollars doubled, more than doubled.
Yeah, because some of your high-cost claimants fell into that condition, and that's why those dollars went up. So there was some changes, but nothing really dramatically, other than infections. I'm seeing infections popping up on more and more of my clients. You know, unfortunately, you can get that sepsis when you're inpatient. You know, hospitals are not the safest place to always be, unfortunately. But I do see more and more infections that are popping up on customers' lists. Care management, you have the 2 programs with us, and you know, this is just showing how many people that had to have prior authorization. The care management is the case management, is where the nurses are able to manage people based on that condition. I'm not going to talk about prescription drugs because I have a report to show and talk about afterward. And then the last page of 16 is your dental. You know, dental is dental. It's got dollars capped, but your folks are still using the dental plan appropriately. And on the summary page, I've kind of already talked about all of these programs. The high-cost injectables is something that we would recommend adding to the prior authorization list. More and more drugs are now being managed through infusions or things like that. So when a member needs to have, Enbrel is a good one. Enbrel has to be managed through injectable. And either the doctor will keep that drug on hand, meaning at their office, or they'll have someone write a prescription and have the member go get it. What we would like to do is put that on the prior authorization list so that if they do have to go have that infusion or that high-cost injectable somewhere, we can help them go to the appropriate place in network. If it can be done at home, the home health care agency being in network, you know, help the patient manage that cost appropriately. If you'll real quick look at the pharmacy report that's behind that tab, It's only 7 pages, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Just wanted to point out a few things on this report. We've got our glossary tab, but if you'll look at the performance indicator page, I've highlighted the areas where I wanted you to see the positives, and really these are the areas that the pharmacy looks at the most too, is the current year, this is for 2018, all of 2018, the plan incurred $255,000 worth of prescription drug costs versus the prior year at $407,000. Of that $255,000, $201,000 of those drugs were actually non-specialty drugs, which is great. And in 2018 is when you put the premium PDL program in, which has the exclusionary list. And so there are a lot of those drugs on there that they won't be able to get unless they either appealed it or they tried all these other drugs and they just weren't working. So your spend did go up slightly on that to $53,000, but not all of those drugs on that specialty list were actually on the premium PDL exclusionary list.
Well, isn't that the one person that's popping up as the high claimant? That's the same number.
Yes, yes it is.
So that's one person?
Yeah, that's getting their treatment through the specialty drug program. Now, that person for 2019, there is no specialty spend for 2019. So they either changed their prescription or I didn't see them turn. They're still on the plan, but they're not taking this specialty drug anymore. There is no specialty spend for 2019.
Is that a cancer treatment?
It's coming in as inflammatory conditions?
Yeah.
Would that be Humira?
It could be Humira pen. It's more of a orthopedic type condition, inflammatory. All those commercials you're seeing.
What kind of drug, what is Humira? I can't remember.
It's for
autoimmune,
Phil Mickelson
psoriatic
commercial.
psoriasis.
Yeah, yep.
And the big drugs are on which ones? Humira and what else?
Let's skip over. And so if you'll turn to the next page, you'll see the high-cost claimant's condition is inflammatory, and then your next cost is your diabetes. But if you'll look at the page after that, oh, sorry, it's just saying inflammatory. Go to the last page, and that's all they're taking is, you've got one patient, and they're taking 2 different types of Humira. They probably started with this Humira pen, and then when they realized that it would work for them, then they moved into just, getting the pen without the starter kit. But that's the only drug that was being used in 2018. And like I said, in the 2019 report, there is no specialty spend. So
Well, that says there's 3 utilizers on that.
On the last page.
Oh, there's 2 on this one and 3 on this one. Utilizers 3.
Oh, what?
Hold on.
Is it the 2018? Oh, yeah, I don't know why that says utilizers up there in the top, but if you come across on the line, it says 1 utilizer. They had 8 prescriptions on the Humira, and then they had 1 with the Humira pen starter. Okay. I don't know why it says 3 up there. All right, let's jump to our other report, which is only 7 pages long, and this is our plan activity report. So this is the report that I pull monthly for you, and this is from January of 2019 through the end of May of 2019. So page 2 is our dashboard. This is looking at your...
End of May or end of April?
I'm sorry?
End of May or end of April?
End of May. The pharmacy report's only through the end of April, but the medical report that I'm showing, the plan activity report, is through the end of May. So the dashboard on page 2 is kind of looking, it's a snapshot of everything behind that we'll talk through in the next 5 pages. But your enrollment, again, it dropped slightly from 2018. So the prior year is looking at the same time period in prior year. So it's looking at just January of 18 through the end of May 18 compared to 2019 data. You could see on the cost breakout on your high cost claimants Your high-cost claimants for this year, their average cost is down to $52.17 versus $310 at the same time last year. Now, your non-high-cost claimant, meaning just utilization of the plan dollars, has gone up, but it did go up, and that is because of the health and wellness program you put in place. A lot of people are out seeing their doctors. They're getting that lab work through their doctors. So there is going to be higher utilization on that, but hopefully it's a positive that we catch everything early. And you're also doing it for the premium analysis for next year. All the admissions per 1,000 has gone down, and this is under the key indicators on the lower left. And your paid per admission went down from on average of $22,000 to $6,000. ER utilization per 1,000 jumped up a little bit, and the cost for those ER visits went up a little bit. Page 3, now this again is a snapshot of your enrollment. Not a lot here to talk about really. What I'd like to do is jump over to page 4. So this is looking at, in the claim category section, we're looking at your inpatient, your outpatient. So you have not had as many people inpatient, but your outpatient utilization has gone up, which is not a bad thing because they're still staying in network. So they're not going inpatient and staying there for multiple days for services. They're being able to be treated on an outpatient basis. And there was one person in that outpatient that had a surgery that was a little costly, but it was all done on an outpatient basis, and it's pretty much wrapped up now in that condition. If you'll look at page 5, you still have claimant number 2 that was in the hospital for 30 days. So they're still ongoing. This is actually, no, that is not your person who has hit 50% of their stop loss. Oh, I do. This is a person who's been a high-cost claimant for many, many years on your plan, and always for that condition. So this person, I also think, might go into stop loss this year, but we're still watching them. But other than that, your utilization has gone down. In the prior year, last year at this time frame, you already had 6 high-cost claimants at $25,000 plus. You had 4 of them actually hit $50,000 plus. Turn to page 6. This is your key indicator page, and positives here are no readmissions. So you've had 5 people admitted to the hospital. They've had an average of 38 days, one being that one patient had 30 days themselves. But the total paid admit cost has dramatically dropped from $181,000 on the same time last year to $30,000, almost $31,000. And again, the readmissions is at 0. Your ER visits, we're at 19, but 4 of those resulted in admissions, but you only had 2 people that went for non-emergent. That is very positive. And then your well visits, if you come down further into the office visit section, you can see that your well visits continue to improve. Last time of this year, they had 71. We've gone up to 80 now. So your folks have really, kudos to everyone for getting out and promoting the health and wellness program. And again, you've had really good start and momentum, and they have until October 1 or November 1? I think October 1, so hopefully we can get those remaining 40 people to take their health and wellness, get their biometric lab work done and do the CHRA, and then you'd have 100%.
And like she said, this is given to Sharon on a weekly basis. It's in an Excel format, so it can be sorted, and you can see exactly who you're missing.
I did sort it.
Okay.
And I can leave back a copy of this, and then I can give you a copy of it.
So
You
that's
have
40
to-
out of our 220,
Yes.
not 40 out of the number that includes spouses, because we didn't.
You know, I think that you can, if you separate spouses, because they tell whether or not it's a spouse or a...
I did not separate the spouses.
Responsibility to contact the people that have. The program, I'm just trying to keep them.
Y'all need, do y'all want Sharon to start contacting people that have not done it? Or do you think it's on them to do it?
No, I'd love to. I'd love to get that number down. And the fewer battles I have at the end of the year, the
Right.
better.
And that's another thing I need to let Paul know, because one of the issues we have is when it gets pushed back into us, and then there's this, we're not supposed to be doing it, it's supposed to be y'all are the man. So I wanted to make notes so that I can tell him this is what we got in the meeting, what our office needs to, or we need to make for them happen if they don't do it, because it does become.
Well, and my office can help with some of that. We can relieve Sharon of some of that, as long as it's not private information. I wouldn't think that it would be.
I'm just making a note of what they're wanting us to do, so I can tell her so we can get the call.
Well, let Carolyn help with that. Let Carolyn help with that, contacting these employees and reminding them, hey, clock's ticking.
So this is the section where nothing's been done.
Right. Well, so what it is some of them have started it. So you can see like number 4 or number 3, person number 3, they started their CHRA. There's a column that says begin, and they had their lab work done, but they didn't finish their CHRA.
Yeah, and out of the 40, 11 of them are spouses.
There's some on the back. There's a few on the back. It's 43 total, sorry.
So that's out of your employees plus spouses.
Right. Right.
So that's less than 20%.
Yes.
Because I thought they gave a paper copy that then they could take
Yes.
the spouse would fill it out,
Yeah.
and even if they turned it in, we could see
Absolutely.
it. But, yeah.
Well, I think that's a pretty good number, to tell you the truth.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. Y'all have done a great job. We've not had this much activity when we rolled out a health and wellness program. But like you said, the more we can get this out, the less you all would hear at the time when you're going to assess that premium increase, because they didn't do it. Because a lot of them, they started it, they just didn't finish it.
Yeah, the ones that are left have got to go with the appropriate form to see their doctor and let them let
Yep.
their own doctor complete it.
There's actually only 10 employees that have had no activity. Out of what's left, some that done the labs, they just haven't done the online assessment.
Right.
So it's even really better.
Yeah, it's very, very improved. Yes.
Okay, they're going to have to do this additional fee if they do not complete this process in the gut thing.
That's right.
Well, just from my experience, a lot of people don't feel like they know that until they're assessed that fee.
They were told all that.
No, I'm not saying they weren't told. I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to charge a single person.
Right, so my theory is that you're gonna get the real action on who didn't comply when they get hit with the first. And is that too late? That's my point. Is there a window
Well,
for someone?
we don't do the premiums, so that's going to be something that,
They gotta give, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
The first
if
one
I
they
know
get.
that my office has contacted them, I'll be able to look them in the eye and say,
Okay.
you were told, you
We're only the
understood.
ones with the checks, and they'll be coming to us wanting to know why that was done in that fashion.
And we don't want a single
Is there a
employee.
window?
I will personally contact them. You know, if you'll let my, be shared.
That was just one of the concerns we had.
This is where you're missing somebody. So, and like I said, in the report. Okay.
And I just wanted to make sure that we make sure we.
see, Cheryl's already looking, and some of them have already left the county, so, I mean, this is improving as we sit here and talk about it. But I think that,
I just wanted to make sure because sometimes we're trying to work on something.
Sure.
We don't hire them, so I want to make sure.
Well, and I would suggest, I had, she does, Carol sends it to me.
Okay.
She would probably be asking these questions. I'm
Sure.
trying to
So continuing on page 6, I just, again, talking about the wellness is improved. If you look at page 7, again, your in-network utilization is at 99%, and your average discounts are at 58.5% through the end of May. You had a few real appeal dollars for 2019, so people are sticking with the program or got enrolled. And then, again, talking about the benchmark program, that's where if you look at those out-of-network dollars, now you're down to $3,000 at this time compared to the period last year. But still, any dollar that we can capture and pay and not have the plan pay it or the member pay it is a positive and going the right direction with less cost. And then behind that report for the medical is your 2019 pharmacy report. And it's only through April. Unfortunately, their May data comes out today, but I wasn't able to get it, to bring it. But again, all positive on this report as well. If you'll turn to the 3rd page, your plan cost continues to decrease. It's now down to, for the first 4 months, the plan cost is down to $57,000. And all of that is non-specialty drugs. There's no specialty drugs being paid. If you look at the bottom, under your generic dispensing rate, you have 90% of the drugs are being dispensed in generic. And 98% of them, if they didn't get it in generic, the doctor wrote it for a brand, the members are asking for a generic. So that is really, really good news. And then your mail order is up to 38%. But you also put in the mandatory mail order program for this year. So the utilization is increasing. Yes, it was. It was put in 2018. Yep.
Yeah, now they have to use mail order if they've got a monthly regular prescription. And in fact, it's just 38%, which means the majority of the drugs we're taking are not monthly, daily, repeating drugs.
But you can see, compared to the UMRs or OptumRx norm, it's only at 14.7% of the mail order utilization. And you also are much higher on the generic substitution. So your members are asking for the generics. Now, the next page is looking at your disease states. Inflammatory is actually not your number 1. It's still your diabetes, which is not uncommon. Every customer I have, diabetes is in the top 1 or 2. And then cardiovascular is your second.
You know, it's a problem when you look at these drugs and you can sing the song for every one of them.
I know.
What is geniturinary?
Sorry. I don't know what that condition is, but I can look it up for you.
I may not want to know.
I know.
Yeah, right.
And then in the next page, there's no specialty being utilized, so there's no data on there as to what those conditions are. And then the next page is your non-specialty. So these are the drug names to the condition. And you can see that geniturinary is number 2, but I'm not sure what that is. But if you look through here under the drug name, you could pretty much know what the commercial is. So, yeah. But you still have that exclusionary program in place. So if it's something that is on that list, they're not going to be able to get it. So these are drugs that are not on the exclusionary drug list. And then the last page again is no specialty utilization.
Isn't that what's special? You come on their current net pay claims down 39% for 2015?
No, I did not.
Yeah. But your net pay claims for the same period compared to last year, down 39%. So very positive.
Last year was considerably better than 17.
Exactly.
So we can get 2 good years in a row.
Yep, you're doing a lot of positive things, and the members are staying healthy, and
So the areas for improvement will be to adopt these 2 and to get our remaining 40 or less employees to the doctor to complete their wellness assessment.
right. Yep. And then also to consider excluding completely 2 out-of-network ER, freestanding ER facilities.
It's Longview ER and what's the other one?
Excel ER and Hospitality ER.
Okay, and I think that we'll probably be ready to approve those changes as soon as you can put them in layman's terms for me.
Perfect.
And tell me when you can get it done.
Okay.
One other thing I'd like to bring up, and Sharon's not here, so I'd like to kind of table this, but I would like to bring it up while she's not here. The thing that I guess I didn't realize, but y'all are, I don't know how much you're paying for this, but using another Cobra vendor for vision. Yeah, I don't know why or even how that happened. I didn't even realize it was happening. At this time, UMR is handling Cobra for medical and dental, but on vision, y'all are outsourcing to a firm that I have no idea.
Who would have made that decision?
I have no idea.
I didn't know that either
Until we figured it out.
someone went.
Did it?
I don't even know how that's possible.
Well, I don't know either.
Did we make a change over the prior year?
No, sir. Apparently
never
it's
done it.
always been that way since we did the vision, and I don't know why or how, okay? But I do want to suggest that we talk about, Higginbotham actually we have our own Cobra administration. I think we brought this up maybe a year or so ago, but I think even the cost would be less than going through UMR's administration, and we can do everything. We can do dental, vision, and medical, and they send a bill for it. It's a separate cost factor because it happens in Fort Worth. I suggest we discuss that maybe.
I know there was an issue, but I don't really know.
Yeah, well, what happened, it didn't get turned into that person, and so I called UMR and Chris was looking, and she says, we don't do the vision. And I went, you don't do the vision?
I was surprised too.
Anyway, and so I went back to Sharon, why don't they do the vision? She went, I don't know, we've always just sent it to these other people. And I'm like, okie dokie, I don't know why. But I do
Is that
think
a change that would be made at your end or what?
probably easiest to do it that way.
Well, no.
Exactly.
It's something
Right.
that can involve it, because not many people.
Yeah, but it does include that initial rights notice needs to be submitted, so if you got 2 people doing it, they're getting one notice on the medical and dental, and then they're getting another notice for the vision, and I can really see how people would be kind of confused about it.
And our Cobra fees are on a PEPM basis, so I think it's right now at $1.05 per employee per month. So you're paying, but we don't, and I think.
And ours is
Tony-
75 cents.
Yeah, so there is a cost differential, and Tony talked about it last year, a cost savings for Hig to do
Well,
it.
while it's fresh on our mind, let's tack that on to these other items
I'll
here.
actually get a proposal from Higginbotham, so you actually see exactly what they'll do, and we'll include all of those plans, and you'll have a rate, so you know exactly when you get that bill, what it's paying for and who it goes back to.
All right, thank you. Well, that's good news. Cause for celebration. The time we spent tweaking this that you've directed us to has obviously paid off big. I'm very impressed with these numbers.
Thank you.
So let's talk about next steps.
Yeah, timing, generally I come back out early September, present the renewal to you all, and, if we have any other plan recommendations, we can discuss them then for a 1/1 implementation. Does that still work for everybody?
Yep.
Now, let me go back and look at when we had the renewal for the stop loss, because I want to be able to present both of them, because the biggest.
Like that came along later last
Yeah,
year.
And if maybe what we need to do is wait on my UMR renewal and tie it together with the stop loss renewal so that we're talking about both components at one time. But I'll look and see how quickly I can get that, because when I present it, we want to be able to get you firm numbers. Stop loss is a little different than the UMR admission admin fees, because our admin fees are just flat fees that, you know, the cost is usually less than 2% increase, if that. And I want to say there might be a rate guarantee for 2020 in place. But the stop loss is the most difficult, and they have particular timing of when they'll offer a renewal and when they want to lock it in. You're with a preferred carrier, so we've got a lot more leverage with them to, you know, demand other things from them too.
So just look at that. Let me know September or October, whatever it is.
All right.
September is budget approval and finalization month, but we can still work it in there if you're ready by then.
Okay. All right.
So I know that Carl's leaving in October, you've got a new person coming in. I mean, how is that transition going to affect what we do? I mean, y'all, thoughts on that?
Well, that would be good if, you know, if Carl was here when we did that in September. If not,
Okay.
just have to deal with it.
And one last question. Tell me what I need to do as far as looking, shopping, doing anything else.
That brings up a good point. Your TAC contact after we said communicate with Tony has never, you've never heard back from him.
Said that.
We're
Check on it.
I'll do whatever y'all tell me.
you know, when you're winning like we are, I hate to
It looks
take a
good so
chance.
far.
Yeah. So let's,
I will say this, if you're gonna shop it, they're gonna want to see the renewal. And then that's putting you into a time consideration, because last year, we did open enrollment, I believe in October. Were you here then?
yeah.
No, here, but I came to that meeting because I was coming on.
Okay, which is really, really early, and I think they did that because Christy was leaving and there was a lot of trouble toward the end of the year. I mean, we can do that again, but again, if you're doing that, that's really scooting that window
We're
down.
gonna shop the stop loss anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the stop loss coverage is gonna be shopped anyway, so that's fine.
I don't think I see any reason for us to make a change this year.
Do you still want to have open enrollment in October?
Is that
a shared
is that a good date for y'all?
Oh, man.
It's all, it doesn't matter.
It's the fourth quarter. It's
I'll never get everybody in there about that, doesn't it start in January or?
January 1 is the plan renewal.
I mean, it's the timing of getting yourself the time to get everything signed.
And I think Sharon looks at it for payroll to change any rates and.
And again, that brings us back, I mean, I know we set up the online enrollment tool, we gave them that enrollment service for actual, that benefits in hand. If you utilize online enrollment, you can streamline it just like that. If you don't utilize online enrollment, that obviously takes more time to do.
We can talk about that later. I think we're running out of attention span here.
Okay, so I'm gonna add that on my talking points for
Late
next
July,
time.
early August, whenever.
Yeah, so bring back to that, when do you want to get together next? I mean, do you want to visit before she has the renewal or not?
Realistically, you'll have a renewal. You think you'll have it in September?
I'm going to shoot for September. Yes, sir. That's why I'm going to go back and I'm going to start talking to the stop loss carrier and, you know, put the history
You have it
together.
ready at the last meeting in September, great. If not, it should be good to do it 1st of October.
That should be doable.
Yeah, we will.
And that's why I was wondering, because the budget, I thought Paul said the budget was finalized by the end of August.
Well, it is, but we vote on it at the last meeting in September,
Oh, I just was going.
which is the 23rd.
Is there any
9/23 is when you would be voting?
Well, that's the budget
Okay,
and the tax rate are voted then.
okay.
I can either piggyback this along with that, or we can have a special meeting, whatever we need to do.
Okay. I can get you a better idea when I get back within the next couple of weeks of when we ballpark we think we can have this for September. My goal is to get you something in September prior to the 9/23. You'll need to see it and have it, and then you can come up and present it, talk through it, that meeting or a meeting before that. I'm available.
All right. Anything else? Thank you very much.
I don't have anything else. Do y'all have anything else for me?
Nice numbers.
They are very positive. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank y'all.
All right, need a motion to adjourn before you leave. Motion made by Commissioner Applewhite, second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Thank you.